it's my last day. How am I feeling? Excited? Yeah, so I'm Jamie and I'm going to be a Year 3 economics student at SMU. And I've been working as a digital content intern here for about a good 3 months. I started at the end of April.
What attracted you about Mighty Velo?
Yeah, so the thing about me is that prior to this internship, I had like no hard skills whatsoever. Like I can't do coding, I can't do digital analysis, I can't do data analysis, I don't have any like practical knowledge. All I have is theory. So because of that, I realized that during my internship, I really want to just focus on gaining skills. And so because of that, I was attracted to Mighty Velo because I wanted to gain skills in a practical working environment. And at Mighty Velo, I could learn skills like editing and filming, which are all skills that I previously never had experience before doing.
Can you talk a little bit about what projects have you done and what's your typical day like?
Yeah, so my 2 major projects will be working on my comic series featuring my little bunny Sing Sing. So in particular, I've done 2 comics so far. One of them will be talking about the public etiquette for foldable bicycles, and also another is just talking about the various colors that Mighty Velo sells. And another project that I do is working on Tech Talks, which is a series of short informative articles about cycling. And then typically, so those are my 2 ongoing projects. However, my typical day would be spent, researching about what content I could do based on some trends, and also just filming them. So I've done a couple of reels, one of them using a phone as a transition device, and another is using Post-it notes. Lucius was cringing the whole time I showed it to him. He was like, what? So oftentimes I find myself struggling with coming up with content ideas. So a lot of the content ideas that I've actually come up with was bouncing off ideas from other interns. So by myself, it's really difficult trying to come up with content. But because there were other interns around and then we could brainstorm together, it made the experience a lot more fun.
Can you expand on that?
Yeah, so in total there are 6 interns. So there's me, John, who's the oldest, and the manager of the interns. There's also Lucius, which is HR, then converted into actor. And then there's Isabel, my table mate, Akil, and Ian. So I was more close to Isabel, Akil, and Ian because they're like on my side of the table, while the first 2 were like on a separate country basically. So the dynamic was really casual, and that's what I like the most, because whenever I was just stumped for ideas or whenever I was just like a little bit bored, I could just turn to Isabel and then I'll just show her like my stuffed toys, and then she'll like brighten up my mood. And then whenever I had like no ideas as well, and simultaneously when they didn't have any ideas, they'll just come to me and then we'll just talk for a bit, and that just helps the mood to be a lot more casual and a lot more outgoing.
How's the work outings like?
So besides just like, coming up with content within the office, oftentimes we also go out for excursions. So some of the excursions we went on was to Bishan Park, to Stadium, and also to Punggol. So that was a lot of fun because, you get to step outdoors and it's just, you get to breathe in the fresh air. But also it was interesting because one of my concerns about entering this internship was that I don't cycle. I can't cycle a bicycle. I took like a 2-day course, but I forgot all of it. Yeah, so that was a bit concerning because I'm entering a foldable bicycle company and I don't know how to cycle. So I was really concerned about how would I be able to contribute to this company considering that I can't even cycle. So that problem was resolved because I got a tricycle. So that made it really easy to cycle along. And also, another concern I had was that I actually used to have a back injury, and it's mostly healed now, but I was just a bit concerned because if I do anything too outgoing, if I do anything too strenuous, then it can like cause it to relapse. So I was a bit concerned about that, and I was mainly concerned because I worked at retail for like 2 days, and because I was continuously practicing with folding and unfolding the bicycles, that actually made it hurt a bit. So I raised it to the supervisor, and I just thought, oh, the supervisor would just cut down my hours. It's not that big of a deal. But she actually took my concerns to heart, and she just removed me from retail duty. And that was a really nice thing because usually back injuries, they're quite invisible. So most people don't really take that into account. They just think, oh, maybe if you didn't go for surgery, if you don't have like any proof that your back is hurt, then most people don't take it seriously. But in this case, they really like hurt my concerns, and that just made me feel really touched that they would take that into account. So going back to the cycling adventures, so I always felt like a little bad, like, because when they plan the cycling trips, they have to take that into account. They have to take the fact that I can't really cycle, so I'll be using a tricycle into account. And they also have to take into account my back injuries. But they're still really nice and they're really accommodating, and they never once made it seem like it was a trouble, so that was very nice. And in general, the trips overall have been like really fun.
Which one would be your favorite trip?
I think my favorite was Stadium because we did not cycle. Yeah, the one that I went with you, because we did not cycle a single time. Yeah, but actually Bishan was the first trip and I had to cycle a small stretch, but that was actually quite fun because I was a bit nervous, I was a bit apprehensive because, you know, that was my first time properly riding a tricycle in an environment that I wasn't used to. But it was actually a lot of fun because they had planned the route such that the pavement is quite flat and there weren't a lot of people, so I didn't have to worry about bumping into someone and then dying. So it was a lot of fun actually. So besides the Stadium trip, because I'm used to Stadium, so I always like what I'm comfortable and I'm used to the sights there. So that's why I felt more comfortable and more safe and thus felt that was more fun. But actually the trip to Punggol was really fun because I hadn't been to Punggol before. And by cycling on a tricycle, I got to see things that I've never seen before. And the scenery in Punggol is actually very pretty. So I highly recommend cycling there, and I probably would maybe not cycle there because I don't own a bicycle, but I'll probably, you know, go for a walk there with my family because it was a lot of fun.
What is the other most memorable things?
I would say one of the most memorable experiences that I actually got to meet a comic artist I really like. And so during my time in this internship, while I was working on my own comic, I was introduced to the artist, the work salary man, and I can't English. Yeah, so I actually had, so that person, one of the co-founders of Work Salary Man, is a birdie, but is one of our customers. So because of that, I had the opportunity to interview him. So, you know, that's an experience that you normally don't get to have. And I even got like a little drawing from him, so that was a lot of fun. Yay!
What is your proudest work or moment in Mighty Velo?
Proudest work? Well, I like my comic series, of course, and especially because I think I got a lot better in the second one because I thought about compositions a lot more and I thought about perspectives a lot more, and I tried to introduce things in a more dynamic way. Because prior to working on my comic series for my internship, I hadn't drawn since like the end of secondary school, so I've been really rusty. And even though the co-founder thought that my art was really nice, I was still a bit apprehensive and I was just a bit worried about, you know, going back to drawing, especially because for this comic series, I'm doing digital drawing and I've never drawn on a tablet before. I've only drawn on paper, and I've never drawn like bodies before. I've only drawn like floating heads. So it was a first for me, and so that's why my comic series is definitely something that holds dear to my heart. But besides that, I think one of the contents that I would say proudest of is like my post-it note video. So, or like my phone transition video, because I think those are a little more polished, and it's also because I had to go, I just think that it was quite smooth the way that I edited it. So I'm quite happy about that. And because prior to working at Mighty Velo, I've never, you know, edited anything, I've never filmed anything. So it was a first for me in many ways to be able to like produce such content. So I think those are some projects that I quite like.
What are all the firsts?
There have been a lot of firsts. There's been first time cycling a tricycle, first time editing, first time filming, first time doing voiceovers, first time like drawing digitally. Yeah, there's a lot of firsts.
Do you have any last words?
Overall, even though I lacked a lot of practical experience before coming here, I'm really thankful that they chose to hire me, and I'm just really happy and grateful that I got to work at Mighty Velo as my first internship, because this is such an environment that is super warm and it's super encouraging and accommodating. So I am so happy that I, you know, got to work here as my first internship. And I think if you're looking for a chill and relaxing environment to grow and learn as a person, I definitely recommend interning at Mighty Velo. So see you there.
What other skills have you learned? But don't have to be hard skills.
Yeah, I don't really know if this counts as a skill, but you know, before working here and like in general, everyone who knows me like calls me antisocial and introverted, because And like if you see me like outside, I look like I'm about to kill myself and then kill everyone around me, because that's just like how tired and done I look most of the time. So it was really interesting that when I got to work here, that everyone, or at least the boss, like sees me as like very bubbly and happy, because that was very much an impression that I've never given off in my entire life. So because of that, I felt like I got to turn over a new leaf here, and I got to work from scratch and like be seen as a more bubbly and happy person. And because of that, I don't know, I feel like I've opened up a lot more and I've become a lot more sociable. So I don't really know if that counts as a soft skill. But yeah, because like people, yeah, I mean, my close friends and family see me as like really happy, and that's why my father's always like, why do you come off as so antisocial in public, but at home you talk so much? Yeah.
So it's like when you're in Mighty Velo, it's more like homey?
Yeah, I would say that. It's because I've always done well in like closer, tighter environments, but when I'm out in public, you know, it's an area that is like strange and foreign to me, so it's hard to feel comfortable in such an environment.
What is the thing that you will miss most about Mighty Velo?
Yeah, so you know, the casual interactions, it's been a lot of fun, and I definitely miss it now that the 3 people that I'm closest to, like in the company, like were traitors and left first, so bad people. But on a casual note, the pantry is something that I'll definitely miss, because it's like chef's kiss. They have like so much snacks. They have like Lay's upon Lay's upon Lay's, and they have Cheetos, and they have Doritos, and they have like Danish cookies, and they have Milo and Coke, and it's awesome.
Okay, so what's next?
What's next? So since I'm going to be a year 3 student at SMU, so I'll be continuing on with my studies there, and I'm also going to be starting on my 2nd major. Besides doing teaching assistant and communication coach, I am finally going to be an EXCO member. After failing interviews numerous times, I finally become a member of an EXCO. So that'll be fun. It'll be definitely a new thing that I'll be working on, because I've never been an EXCO member before, and I've never planned anything before, but it'll be a lot of fun learning new things.
That's it. I'm so proud of you.